Um, Ever wonder what happens when a show becomes a cultural phenomenon? Um, it spawns spin-offs, prequels, and endless debate. Uh, that's the world of Game of Thrones, which is the term back in the what began as a groundbreaking fantasy series in 2011 uh, quickly evolved into a television empire. HBO went from being known for prestige dramas to dominating the fantasy landscape. 8 seasons of political intrigue, shocking twists, and unforgettable characters captivated audiences worldwide. But with more shows comes more scrutiny. Um, House of the Dragon arrived in 2022, aiming to recapture the magic. Then came A Night of the Seven Kingdoms in January 2026, a surprising character-driven story that felt like a love letter to the original series. Uh, Now, with 11 seasons of Westeros on our screens, it's time to ask, how do they all stack up? Uh, let's dive in. Let's start at the bottom. Uh, Season 8 of Game of Thrones is often criticized for um, rushing the ending and making the logical character choices. While visually impressive, it lacked the depth and nuance that defined the earlier seasons. The Battle of Winterfell was a spectacle, but or hard to follow. Um, Bran's ascension to the throne felt unearned, and John's exile felt like a waste of potential. And I mean, it wasn't bad TV, just the least Thrones version of Game of Thrones. Um, you know, Season 5 finds itself similarly criticized. It ventures beyond the established source material, leaving many fans disappointed. The Doran storyline was a major misstep, and while Cersei's Walk of Atonement was powerful, other plots felt underdeveloped. Arya's faceless men training dragged on, and Jon Snow's season felt like a setup for something bigger. It had moments of brilliance, but ultimately felt uneven. Uh, Season 2 of House of the Dragon is a solid entry, delivering on the promise of war and conflict. It expands the story impressively, but occasionally loses the tight character focus of the first season. While thrilling, it doesn't quite reach the same heights as some of the mid-tier Game of Thrones seasons. It feels like a stepping stone to something greater. Season 7 of Game of Thrones is a mixed bag. The ambitious attempt to unite everyone north of the wall resulted in a somewhat nonsensical mission. It felt like a setup for a grand finale that never quite materialized. While entertaining, it suffers from the knowledge of what was to come. It's a season built on potential, not fulfillment. Season 6 marks a return to form for Game of Thrones. The Battle of the Bastards is a cinematic masterpiece, and the explosion of the Sept of Baelor is a shocking moment. that reverberates throughout the fandom. While the first half is slow, the back half delivers on the promise of political intrigue and character drama. Uh, Season 2 of Game of Thrones expands the world and deepens the political landscape. The Siege of Blackwater is a highlight, and Tyrion's role as Hand is brilliantly portrayed. Uh, However, it suffers from being a transitional season, laying the groundwork for future events, and it's a solid entry, but lacks the urgency of later seasons. Uh, Season 1 of Game of Thrones is a groundbreaking achievement. It introduced a complex world, memorable characters, and a willingness to subvert expectations. Ned Stark's execution is still a shocking moment, and the show's commitment to realism was revolutionary. It laid the foundation for everything that followed. Uh, but later seasons built upon it more effectively. Season 1 of House of the Dragon proved that the magic of Game of Thrones wasn't a fluke. It delivered on the promise of political intrigue, complex characters, and stunning visuals. Millie Alcock and Emma Darkey's performances are captivating, and Matt Smith's Damon is a menacing villain. It is a strong prequel that sets the stage for future conflicts. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is a refreshing change of pace. It's a smaller, more character-driven story that focuses on the relationship between Dunk and Egg. And Peter Claffey and Dexter Saul Ansel have excellent chemistry, and the show's focus on character development is a welcome change from the sprawling political intrigue of other seasons. It's a reminder that strong characters are enough to tell a compelling story. Season 3 of Game of Thrones is often considered the show's peak. The Red Wedding is a shocking and unforgettable moment, and the season's political intrigue is at its finest. Robb and Catelyn's fall is heartbreaking, and Tyrion's arc is brilliantly portrayed. It's a season where every moment feels essential. And finally, at the very top, we have season 3 of Game of Thrones. It's a masterclass in storytelling with shocking twists, compelling characters, and stunning visuals. But the Red Wedding is a moment that will live on in television history, and the season's political intrigue is at its finest. It's a perfect blend of spectacle and character development. So there you have it. Every Game of Thrones show ranked. It's a testament to the show's enduring legacy that even the weaker seasons are still compelling television. Uh, Speaking of legacy, what do you call a dragon with no fire? A dragon. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.